Jake Paul says he's too sharp, too clean, and hits too hard for anyone to stand in his way. And this time, that confidence isn't coming from hype. It's coming from the relentless work behind closed doors, from the long nights spent pushing himself past exhaustion, from believing that everything he's done up to this point has prepared him for one defining moment. Gervonta Tank Davis. For Jake, this isn't about clout anymore. It's about legitimacy. It's about proving that all the noise, all the criticism, and all the doubts will be silenced by the sound of his gloves connecting. Gervonta, on the other hand, doesn't talk much. He doesn't need to. His reputation speaks for him. A 3-division world champion, 4-time title holder, and a man whose knockouts have defined an era of modern boxing. He walks into every fight with quiet confidence, knowing that he carries something his opponents don't: true championship experience. When Jake says he's ready to bring war, Tank doesn't blink. He's heard it all before. He's seen loud men fall silent when they feel the first taste of his power. But when these two sat face to face, something different happened. Jake wasn't performing. He wasn't trolling. He spoke like a man who truly believes he belongs in this conversation. "I know what I'm capable of," he said calmly. "I know what I've learned in the past year. I'm sharper, stronger, faster, and I'm just here to have fun." The confidence wasn't forced. It was focused. Still, Gervonta listened and smiled slightly, almost like a man watching someone walk into the lion's den convinced they'll walk out. Tank's skill set is something you can't teach overnight. His footwork is a masterclass in control. His timing, an art form refined over years. His power doesn't come from wild swings, it's calculated, perfectly placed destruction. And his defense? Tight, instinctive, and patient. He doesn't chase chaos. He waits for it to come to him. That's what separates him from Jake. Tank's life has been about fighting since before the cameras showed up. Jake's life has been about learning to fight in front of them. Still, the narrative around this fight has captivated the boxing world. Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis feels like two worlds colliding. Celebrity spectacle versus championship pedigree. One brings raw size, strength, and relentless promotion. The other brings precision, skill, and a legacy of dominance. Analysts can't stop dissecting the matchup. On paper, Jake's weight and reach give him an undeniable advantage. His frame alone could absorb punishment that smaller fighters couldn't handle. But boxing isn't about size, it's about execution. And when you strip away the showmanship, you're left with a simple truth. Tank Davis has mastered execution. Even other fighters admit it. They know Tank has sparred bigger men. They know he's fought with broken hands and still delivered knockouts. He's been in wars, survived storms, and outsmarted opponents who looked unbeatable. So when experts pick Tank, it's not because Jake isn't talented, it's because experience in the ring is a different kind of education. As one commentator put it, Jake's fighting a real champion now. Everyone else was either retired, older, or just not on this level. This is different, and that's the intrigue. Jake Paul's entire career has been about doing the unthinkable. From YouTuber to headline fighter, he's climbed each rung of the boxing ladder with defiance. Each opponent said the same thing before the bell: he's not real. And yet, every time Jake walks away proving that maybe, just maybe, he's more real than anyone expected, but this time, the risk is monumental. Even Jake admits it. "This is my toughest fight," he said. He's undefeated, top 5 pound for pound, highly skilled and experienced. "I know I'm stronger and more athletic, but he has every other advantage. That's why I'm locked in, fully focused." That admission doesn't sound like arrogance, it sounds like respect. Jake knows what's coming. He knows this isn't a game. Still, his determination remains unshaken. "Tank's gonna be the one surviving," Jake said, his tone cold. "I'm going to upset a lot of people, and when I win, they'll come up with excuses. They'll say it's rigged or he wasn't serious, but they can't deny the knockout when it happens." His confidence borders on obsession, and maybe that's exactly what he needs. Public opinion, as always, is split. Some fans say the matchup is absurd, a circus fight. Others admit they can't look away. Because whether you love Jake or hate him, he makes you watch. He drags attention back to a sport that desperately needs it. One moment boxing purists scoff, the next they're analyzing his footwork. And that's Jake's true power. He's forcing the conversation. Critics argue that Tank should be facing other champions, that taking on Jake Paul is beneath him. But others see the business side. For Tank, this fight might be about more than legacy. It's about securing the bag. After years of grinding through the sport's politics, this could be his moment to walk away with generational wealth. Some insiders even whisper that Tank might retire after this. He's hinted before that family, peace, and a quiet life matter more to him now than belts and cameras. If that's true, then this isn't just a fight, it's his finale. But that decision doesn't sit well with everyone. Some fans believe taking an exhibition for money while skipping elite matchups like Shakur Stevenson or Lamont Roach weakens the sport's competitive spirit. As one analyst said, Tank can't complain boxing's dying if he's part of the reason. Choosing the bag over greatness might be smart business, but it kills competition. Still, even his critics admit, Tank's earned the right to choose. He's fought the wars, taken the hits, and given the fans unforgettable nights. The contrast between Jake and Tank goes deeper than size or skill. It's about philosophy. Jake fights for attention. Tank fights for legacy. Jake represents the future, where influence, business, and showmanship rule. Tank represents the past, where discipline, skill, and pride define greatness. And when those two collide, the question becomes bigger than who wins. It's about what kind of fighter defines boxing's next era. Teddy Atlas, one of the sport's sharpest minds, sums it up best. Technique beats size. Every time. He respects Jake's hustle, but he knows Tank's precision is different. Tank's seen every style there is, pressure, counter, power, speed, and he's solved them all, Atlas says. People talk about Jake's power, but what happens when he can't land? What happens when Tank makes him miss and makes him pay? Other fighters echo that sentiment. Rowley Romero, who shared the ring with Davis, says bluntly that Tank's power and timing will always be the difference. He's cracked bigger guys before, he says. Jake's tough, but toughness only takes you so far when you're in there with someone like Tank. Still, a handful of voices wonder if Tank's hunger has faded. Mike Perry points out that Tank's recent performances haven't delivered the highlight reel knockouts fans expect. Maybe the fire is dimming. Maybe, just maybe, Jake is catching him at the right time. But even that's a dangerous assumption. Because when a fighter like Tank feels doubted, that's when he becomes his most lethal. The deeper this fight is analyzed, the more it reflects boxing's identity crisis. Is the sport about legacy or entertainment? Are fans watching to witness skill or spectacle? Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis forces everyone to pick a side, or at least admit they're curious enough to watch both sides collide. As fight night draws closer, the anticipation builds into something beyond hype. The old guard wants Tank to remind the world what real boxing looks like. The new generation wants Jake to prove that outsiders can't just play the game, they can change it. And when that bell rings, none of the talk will matter. Just two men, gloves raised, each carrying the weight of everything they've said, everything they've trained for, and everything they stand for. Because when Jake Paul stares across that ring and sees Gervonta Davis, he's not just facing a man, he's facing boxing itself. Who do you believe walks away victorious? Will Jake Paul's size and self-belief rewrite history? Or will Tank Davis's precision and power put an end to the influencer era once and for all? Let us know your predictions in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more in-depth fight breakdowns and dramatic stories from the world of boxing. The countdown to war has begun.